Party?
They have gone to court.
Yes.
They are just not talking about it. They have gone to court to seek some of those debts expunged from our debt register and those who borrowed them. Because when you borrow any money, it is supposed to go to the consolidated fund.
Yeah.
And you don't borrow money for recurrent. So the money that was borrowed, starting with even a Eurobond, it never ended up here. It ended up in Qatar National Bank, which was not part of the syndicating banks.
Okay.
So how did this money move from the Federal Reserve Bank, move into these other banks, and end up in Qatar National Bank?
Okay.
So any money, and you know, before you borrow, that money you have to get the authority of parliament, both to borrow and to spend. So you must show us that you got this authority, you borrowed this money for these specific projects. Because you must show us that for the, I borrowed 20 billion and this money went into building this particular road. And when you tell us, we live in this country. If you tell us that you build the Mudhaiga-Kiambu road, Mheshimiwa comes from here. I go to Kiambu to do work every other day.
Okay.
We move here, we come to this station. So if you tell us that you have built this road and we pass here every day and we see the road is not there, then we'll tell you to go and tell us where you took the money.
Okay.
So whatever games they are trying to do, they are not going to work. And what the president and the rest of the executive need to do is to stop doing PR. Because the problem now, Kenyans are very enlightened.
Yeah.
The flow of information, you know, everybody has a cell phone. So even those who don't watch this show now, it will be online.
Yes.
Yeah, so guys will watch, they see it, you know, they Google wherever they are, you know, and now the bundles are all over. You have no control that you can stop them from buying bundles.
Okay.
So somebody buys their bundles of 10 bob and they are able to flip through the channels, you know. So if you are not able to watch this show now, you could, if you are watching this now, you will watch the other station and do comparison and look at it.
All right.
And Kenyans know who is speaking the truth and who is lying, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to a close. So last laps to get your parting shots. What are the possibilities of a second term for the current regime? I know you can say with confidence that, of course, there is no possibility because there is Safina Party. Mahesh, is there a time you have been with Safina Party? No.
No. What I did was run as an independent candidate.
Oh, yes. The other
I presented my nomination papers to Jubilee to run. To run for governor in Jubilee Party. Okay. I did not get a response. They took my money. They did not return. And so I went independent. And with that, I was the running mate for Patrick Wainaina Jangov, and we gave them a good run for their money.
Right.
The differential was 30,000 votes. And were it not for the proclamation of the Supreme Court about hot air, we had more than enough evidence of stolen votes, changed ballots, and clearly unsigned ballots. But then the question is, do you really have the finances to waste when you've just come out from such a very expensive campaign model? Right. So I am one of those politicians who, and I wouldn't say politicians, leaders who believe in serving the people, ensuring that you do what your manifesto says you will do is what you do, and deliver to the people, serve the people of Kenya. I remember a time when I was growing up that we were proud to be Kenyans. Right. We led the continent. And this is in terms of development. We were the anchor, and our policies and what we learned, we were beacons around the continent. I would hope that we'd be able to re-establish that.
Okay. As we sum it up, maybe we come to you, Wakili.
You know, the writing's on the wall for Kenya Kwanza and William Ruto.
Okay.
On the 25th of June 2024, the Kenyan people finished the job. They're just now occupying space. And the verdict is there. They failed on the economy. The only thing that the Kenyan people care about, it is the economy. And we don't care about political shenanigans. Kenyans only care about an economy that makes sense to them, that puts money in their pockets and put food on their tables. On that score, they have failed. And their time with destiny is coming. In 2026, we are going to vote all of them out. All these legacy politicians.
2026.
2026. Elections 2026.
Okay.
That is the mantra.
Interesting.
We are watching what is happening in West Africa. Very small countries, much poorer than Kenya.
Kenya, yeah.
But you've seen what good leadership governance can do. In 2 years, you have Burkina Faso, they have paid off the entire debt. In 2 years, they have abolished taxes. In 2 years, and that's a military guy. He's a young guy. He's 36. 37. So don't tell us that you have experience. Experience in running down the country. So age is not an issue here.
Okay.
And the Gen Zs, you know, the good thing is the political class is still trying to reenact 2007, where you have the kingpins. The masses moved on, the way Wakili has said. Them, they are still thinking now, if I have this tribal lord, plus this one, then I will carry the people. We do horse trading here, some money changes hands, so we agree on how we are sharing cabinet. That is not going to work.
Okay.
70 to 80% of the electorate will be between 18 and 35. And I can tell you for free, they will turn up massively and vote. Okay. The middle class have been hard hit more than anybody by this regime. You know, the levels of taxation are very high. The middle class, all the gains are gone. They are struggling, you know. The middle class used to take their kids to the academies because they thought public school was not their thing.
Yeah.
They have realized they can't afford those academies.
Private, yeah.
They used to have Medicare, the cards, you know, so they never cared so much about what was happening out there. Suddenly they realized they can't afford the card.
Right.
You are used to driving a car, suddenly you are forced to go back to boarding a matatu. You are living in a certain neighborhood, either paying rent or on a mortgage. You realize you can't afford that rent or you can't afford the mortgage. So you are forced to go back to where you left. So the middle class is going to turn up massively and vote in this election.
Okay.
Then the teachers. You know, you cannot win an election if teachers are not on your side.
Okay.
And they are normally, the polling clerks and the presiding officers are normally teachers and public servants. If there are people who have been hard hit by the policies, especially the tax policies of the KK regime, it is the teachers and the public servants. So I can tell you it's not going to be very easy. The lie that, oh, you know, we will fiddle with the numbers or we'll play around with the algorithm. This is not Raila Odinga whom they always play games with. The youth know, the youth are actually the ones who know those IT stuff, you know. Okay. You saw how they were communicating
within the, yes, time. They were actually mobilized.
Yeah, they are able to do stuff. There are things you can do. Me, I know, I'm very limited on what I do on my phone.
On your phone.
You run the whole thing on the phone there.
I agree.
So it's not going to be, they believe that, oh, you know, we will mark ballots, we will steal ballots, we will carry, the election will be held.
Okay.
The votes will be counted and they will call the election. I can guarantee you, because the numbers per polling station is normally maximum 700. So how long does it, if you have 700 people in a stream, the ones who possibly turn out are 500. So by 5, the voting has closed. The clerks take a break for 30 minutes or 1 hour. By 6, the counting starts. By 7:30, they are finished. They call the votes, they send the numbers all over. Everybody will have the numbers. They will call the election, so nobody will imagine that they will play any games around, irrespective of whom you have put at the commission.
Okay, interesting. I know we have not talked about voter registration, but anyway, the conversation continues on our socials. We'll still have some other time